like to hang things on your wall? Are you familiar with command strips but have a love-hate relationship with them because sometimes they are your best friend and sometimes they betray you? Well, good morning everybody. My name is Robin and I'm Rimkiss Ramblings, or I'm Rambling Rimkai, depending on how your day is going. It is just after 6 o'clock in the morning, so it's going to be a hootin' and a tootin' in my neck of the woods. So go ahead and grab a cup of coffee and we'll have a conversation regarding command strips and what's up with them. Or will your stuff stay up with them? So anyways, like I said, it is now just after 6 o'clock in the morning. I just shot my husband out the door. He's on his way to work. Yes, yesterday was a move day. We moved after he got off of work, so it was a late day, and I shot off to the grocery store to go buy some groceries because we're going to be here for a little bit of time. Coffee's a good thing.
Just tell us what everyone can do! And that's why coffee's for grown-ups.
So the house is in a chaotic mess.
Oh, how embarrassing.
Yes. Real life, real life, real life. This is no joke. It's not going to be staged for your approval. No, it's a mess. It's a mess. So anyways, I'm going to take you on a cruise around my house today because I want to show you some things about and talk to you about command strips, command materials and their products. We use them. I've used them since they basically first came out. Many years ago. I have been a loyal fan of command strips because in military housings a long time ago, ladies and gentlemen who will raise your hand if you lived in military housing that had cinder block walls. Yeah, we couldn't put anything in our walls. You couldn't. Damage to walls in military housing would leave you with paying a fine, and the fine varied upon what they wanted to charge you with depending on the centimeter of hole that was in the wall. So you had to be very clever-esque in what you ever hung on your wall in military housing. Now, progressively over time, military went to privatized housing, so we got more civilian-ized housing that had more of what you would see out in town with the drywall walls and so on and so forth. But when these things came out, they varied as far as the style of things. You usually had just the basic. The first one that came out that had the two-siders, and you would hang them up accordingly on the wall, and these were great. And then they came out with these great things. I love these to death. I use these religiously on pretty much everything in my RV, which you guys will see. These are the Velcro picture hanger style command strips. I love them, I love them, love them. But what I want to talk to you today is not so much as those different products. I want to talk to you about how we use them and what you might be aware of and may need to know about to successfully use these. Because in certain forums that I'm a part of, a lot of people are asking questions about them and why they may fail. I love command strips. I highly recommend these, whether you're in sticks and bricks, in RVs, but there's a lot of things, especially in RVs, that we need to be aware of. So let's go ahead and start with part one. Number one, and one thing about command strips that we, command products is a 3M product. Spend some time looking and reading about command strips. There's a lot of information on their website, so please, I'll put the link below to back up what I'm telling you. This is the type of wall surfacing that you're going to put your command strips on. It's very, very important that you look at the type of wall. Now, I have a textured type of wall. It's kind of like a wallpaper-esque because I live in an RV. Most of you guys have the same type of style. It varies in smoothness or texture. Now, command strip, and this is coming from their website. I'll go ahead and because it varies the information depending on the walls, and this is also including those people that have sticks and bricks. It is meant for painted, stained, or wood varnished glass, tile, cinder blocks, plaster, metal, and painted wallboard. They do not recommend wallpaper because the type of adhesive that they use can and will rip wallpaper. Now, material that they use on RVs vary. It is a wallpaper, but I have yet to have it tear. Now, in my other RV, I did have a section in the bathroom nearest the sink that it did start to pull up. The one best thing that I could tell you is if you've ever dealt with any type of sticker, very slow, don't jerk it real quick, because anything like that, especially strong adhesive, will tear any type of paper, or it even will pull paint off the wall. Number 2 on that list, and regarding when you go to use it, is make sure you have a clean surface. But to clean the surface, to prep the surface, the wall that you're going to apply it to, clean it with a material that is not going to leave a residue behind. This stuff has a perfume or a residue that, like essential oils in it, that leaves a wonderful smell that makes the area smell beautiful. However, it leaves a residue behind, which of course then when you go to try to adhere a sticker to it, after time it's going to come loose and it's going to pop off. The best materials that I use when I'm washing my walls to apply a sticker is either Dawn dish detergent, any antibacterial that does not have any fragrance to it, that has no essential oils or anything added to it to create a film or leave something behind, or just basically use vinegar and water. So now we're going to go on a little walk. We're going to go on a jump because I want to show you something. We all have it in our RVs. Sticks and bricks are different because your walls are made of drywall. RVs, the materials vary and the type of temperament of your wall structures are varied. But you're going to have walls, and I'm going to see if I can show you, at least if I can get an angle that you can see. You're going to see flex, okay? See that? See this wall? There's no give. Okay? So you have give. You have give in the wall. And then you have a solid wall. So another thing to be aware is the type of wall structure that you're putting the adhesive to. That strip is normally meant for hard, flat surfaces. I don't think they ever realize that, you know, RV communities are going to apply these things anywhere that they can inside a flexible wall. And because our walls go through a, what do they say, a 4 point whatever on the Richter scale of earthquakes, you got to take that into a frame of mind. So when you're applying something to that wall, especially the one that flexes, you need to make sure that there is no bubbles left behind it, and that's just making sure when you apply it down that you're firmly clearing out any bubbles behind it. The reason why, and like putting tint on the window, is over time the adhesive will dry out, and the flexing of that wall will cause that bubble to form and get bigger and bigger over time and dry out that adhesive, and then over time it'll pop off the wall. And the reason why I'm telling you that is because, like me, every time we travel, and like every 30 days, I go through my RV and I take a look at all my pictures on the wall. And there's a big reason why we're having this conversation today, especially the day after we move, even with my house in destruction, because I had something happen. I'll tell you the story after this conversation. So every time we have a massive travel, I go through and I check my stuff. I give it a wiggle, and as you can tell, and this is on a flexi wall. Well, obviously, bubble has appeared, so this needs to come off the wall and the command strip behind it needs to be replaced. Nope, that's actually pretty stable. It's adhered up and down. I'm going to show you a picture that I want to show you. This was not here. It was over somewhere else, and I'll show you. It was in the living room above a slide. And this is why we're having the conversation today. I can see clearly now. And we're going to go over here. Here's another cross. It's held in 4 positions. And this is on a flexi wall. And let me see if you guys can see. This is the reason why I check them, because you can see only being held right now by 2 spots. So every 30 days I'll go through, especially after we've had a really bad road drive where the road is like Louisiana, New Mexico, Colorado. I'll go through and I'll check my pictures and I'll wiggle them, and if they make that little, sounds like a sticker coming off the wall, they'll come off. I'll pop them off. I'll put new command strips on them and put them back on the wall. When you're going down the aisles, don't just stick to one store to buy your command strips. You can buy them online, yes, you can go on Amazon or whatever, but don't just stick to one store. I've seen, especially at like the hardware stores, have command strips that can hold higher weight limits. Overestimate the weight that you're going to use to adhere them to, especially when, you know, in an RV, because they're going to go through that earthquake and that jostling road adventure it has to deal with. Not only that, it has to go through the different climates depending on where you are, whether you're in a desert, whether you're in a mountain range, whether you're in the humidity of the Floridas, or constant change environment inside your RV, and it has to be able to handle it. So just think about those things when you're purchasing these. And I'm having a muscle cramp, so bear with me. I'm going to cut this off real quick so we can talk in a minute. So now to the story, and this is why I wanted to have this conversation with you, because it's to talk about placement. Be aware of where you're placing your products, your pictures, your little plaques, the things that you want to decorate your home with. I highly make your RV your home. Make it comfortable, because with all this planning and all this ideas of what everybody is using their RVs for, you want to be comfortable, because with the best plan in hand, everybody has this wonderful adventure idea that they're going to be outside and going through and, you know, seeing and planning and doing all these great things, all these great adventures. But unfortunately, Mother Nature has another story. If you're going to put anything over your slides, be very, very aware and very careful. Be aware of them. That one wooden one that I showed you in my bedroom, that big one, it came off the wall, but it slid down the wall and was positioned still on top of the slide. It didn't fall onto the floor, it stayed on the slide. So I didn't know that it had come off the wall. When I brought in the slides and cleaned everything up, I didn't notice that it had fallen flat on the top of our slide. So when we got into position here last night, it's still bright out, 8 o'clock at night, it's still bright. We're putting the slides out, and I'm doing it all. I do all driver side before I do passenger side. The passenger side for the living room was not moving. It had a high-pitched hum, and it wasn't moving. I came into the RV. I'm looking on the floor. I'm looking at the side rails. And then all of a sudden, it slammed forward and dropped into position, and it freaked me out. Looked at it, we went outside, we're checking to see the guardrails, to see maybe the tracks came loose. We were like just checking everything. My husband got on the roof and he found the plaque. The plaque had got itself jammed in there, and enough pressure built behind it that once it forced it through, it gave it enough pressure to push it back, the slide, to get into place and drop itself back into place, so it got itself into alignment. But it had to push that plaque through that surface to get it out of the way so it could drop itself into place. So we had to bring it back in just a little bit once we got the plaque out of the way, to check all the rubber seals, make sure that it didn't cut anything up, and we had good sealing, that we checked all the, you know, metal bars and everything to make sure everything was good to go. The reason why I'm telling you is be forewarned, be aware. No matter what kind of material, what kind of adhesive that you're using, if you're putting it above any of your slides, always check that every move. Every time you bring a slide in and out, make sure you check that it's still up there. 1, 2, that it hasn't moved positions, because it can cause damage, especially depending on what type of slide you have. I'm grateful to God that it did not destroy that slide. Our RV is not like a residential home after all. It is different, so treat it that way. Treat it special. You can decorate it all you want, but remember, treat the surfaces, though they're similar in tone, it travels, it goes through different environments, it is encased in a different type of life than a structured residential home. So we have to do extra steps to make sure it lasts longer, it goes through and able to survive, and that these decorations that we use don't cause damage to it over time. So that's the reason why I'm talking to you today about that command strip, because a lot of the conversations inside the chat rooms is it's not staying on. That is my tip to you guys. Get comfortable with them. Prep the wall. Be aware of the type of wall. And use a little bit more and make sure that the weight limit of the command strip that you're using is exaggerated a little bit more. But that's my tip for you guys. I hope that helps you guys understand what we're going through, and that it helps you enjoy and decorate your home, your RV, and makes it a more comfortable place to enjoy during your travels. So you guys take care of each other, love one another, and I'll see you guys on the flip side. I'm going to go back and put another heating pad back on my shoulder because it hurts. I'm hurting right now. I'm trying to be happy and smiley facey, but I'm not happy and smiley facey right now.